If you've just received a bill from your vendor and you're trying to figure out how to enter it in QuickBooks Online, then this video is for you. So we're logged into QuickBooks Online here, and we're going to go up to the top left of the screen and hover over the Create icon. Now here under Vendors, we're going to select Bill. Now on the left of my screen, I've pulled up a sample bill that we're going to be entering here in QuickBooks. Now keep in mind, this bill says invoice here. This is because on our vendor side, this is an invoice that will be income coming to them. But on our side, this is considered a bill. Now, if you've already paid this bill or you're holding a receipt in your hand that you've already paid for, you're not going to want to enter that as a bill in QuickBooks. You'll just want to enter that as an expense. So if I X out of this bill screen here, then we'll hover over the Create icon again. And if we've already paid for this, then we would instead enter it here as an expense or categorize it when it shows up on our bank feed transactions. But in our situation, we haven't paid for this bill yet, and the terms are net 30. So we aren't going to pay for this until it's closer to the due date. So let's enter it here as a bill so we can keep track of what bills we still owe our vendors for. So let's click here and create a bill. Now the first thing we'll want to do is enter the vendor. Now you may already have your vendor set up in QuickBooks, and if so, you can scroll through or start typing their name here and then just click on it from the drop down. But if you don't have this vendor in QuickBooks yet, then we'll just click here on Add New. Now here we'll enter the vendor's information. So let's enter Summit Auto Parts Supply here in the vendor display name. And that is the only required field when entering a new vendor. But if you have further information like we have here, we can quickly enter the rest of the details. We've got the address here that we'll copy and paste in. We've got the phone number. And then if we wanted, we could also enter the email address and website. But for the sake of time, I'll skip that and go to the bottom right and click Save. Okay, now that we've entered our vendor's name here, the address information that we also set up under this vendor populates here in the mailing address field. Now let's continue entering the different details from this bill. So the terms are net 30. The bill date is the invoice date here, July 30th. The due date is August 29th. Our bill number is going to be our invoice number here, so let's copy that and paste it in. Now in the middle of our screen, we have the category details and we also have item details. Now, depending on your business, it's likely that you'll be using the category details when entering a bill. What you're doing here in the category details section is assigning this expense to an account on your profit and loss. So for example, if you purchase these brake pads for your company vehicle, then the category that you might select would be vehicle repairs and maintenance. If you have an auto repair shop and you purchase these to put on a customer's vehicle, then you might select a cost of goods sold category such as parts. Typically, when you would want to use the item details section instead would be if you are tracking inventory in QuickBooks and the item you're purchasing through this bill is an item that will be added to inventory. In our example, we're going to be categorizing this to parts that we are purchasing to use on a customer's vehicle. And we're going to record it here under the category field as parts. Now we can enter a description here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the details from the bill. For the amount, I'm just going to copy the amount here at the bottom because it has a sales tax added in. And I'm going to enter it here in the amount field. It's likely that you'll be able to ignore the rest of these here, but if you were doing project tracking in QuickBooks, then you'd want to assign the customer or project here. And this expense will then show up when you run reports on profitability by project. And if you're going to invoice that expense back to your customer later, then you'd check this box here to make it billable. Now, if you had multiple items on this same bill and the other items were, for example, for your company vehicle instead of the customer's vehicle, then you'd simply come to the next line here and choose that category. So in our case, repairs and maintenance, sub-account of automobile, and enter the rest of the details like the description, the amount, etc. But in our case, it was just the one purchase. So we can go over here to the far right and click the trash can to delete this item. Now, further down the screen here, we can enter a memo if we'd like, and we can actually attach this invoice to the bill here for future reference. So we can drag and drop the PDF or picture in here, or we can click on Add Attachment and select the invoice to add it. Now, if you're entering a bill that happens every month or on a regular basis, you can select this Make Recurring here at the bottom and set this to be a recurring bill. We're finished entering this bill now, so we're going to click Save. And we'll see this pop up here at the top that says this bill is saved. Now it's important to point out here that by saving this, we have not actually paid or scheduled a payment to take place. This simply saved this bill in QuickBooks. But if you have QuickBooks Bill Pay set up, then you can go up here and click here to add your vendor's ACH info and save it. And then you can actually click Save and Schedule Payment. Now let's click Save and Close to get off of this bill. And let's say we have another bill by this same vendor. So let's go back up here and hover over the Create icon And again, we're going to select Bill. Here in the vendor field, let's search for Summit and click on them here. Now look what happens. All of our fields just auto-populated with the details from our last bill from this vendor. That can be a great time saver if every bill you get from your vendor is basically the same every time. You can just go through and edit anything that is different on this current one, such as the bill date. But if you purchase different things from your vendor each time, and this gets to be aggravating because it fills in with the details from the last bill, I'll show you how to change that. So let's go up to the top right and we're going to click on the X. And yes, we want to leave without saving. Now we want to go up to the top right of our screen and click on this gear icon here to go to our settings. And here we're going to go to Account and Settings. On the left side, we're going to go down and click on Advanced. And then we'll scroll down and find the Automation category. Here you can see the setting that says Pre-fill forms with previously entered content. And currently that is set to on. So to change that, we'll just click on this section. And to the right of this, we'll just toggle this off and then click Save. Now let's go back up here to the X again and go through the steps to create a bill again. So we're going to go to Create icon, Bill. Now let's enter our vendor here again and see what happens. Perfect. This time the only thing that auto-populates is our vendor's information. Now if you want to see past bills that you've entered, from this screen you can click up here on this icon in the top left and it will show you your recent bills. Or you can click on the View More right here and it will take you to all of the bills that you've entered. Now what if you're on your home screen in QuickBooks and you want to go to bills that you've entered without going through the Create New Bill section? Well, let me show you a couple ways to do that. Here on our home screen, we can click on Expenses and Pay Bills. Then over here on the left, you can click on Bills. And now here we're seeing the Unpaid tab of the bills that we've entered. You can scroll through your bills, or you can search by vendor or search by bill date. You can also go up here to the Paid tab to see your paid bills. Another place you can see your bills all together is to go here on the left to Expense Transactions. And here in this drop-down field, select Bill. And if you click on Filter, here you can sort by status, such as open or overdue. You can search by date or a custom time frame. You can search by vendor here or even by category and just click here on Apply. Now, if you want to see details about your bills in report format, you'll want to go over here on the left and click on Reports. And here we can scroll down here to the What You Owe section. Now here we have several reports we can run. We can see our accounts payable aging summary. This will show us our current and our past due bills. Now let's go back to our reports. We also have our accounts payable aging detail and several other reports that we can run here. Now, if you're doing your own bookkeeping, don't forget to grab my free end-of-month bookkeeping checklist. It covers some of the key things I recommend reviewing each month to help keep your books organized. You can grab that using the link in the description below. And if you're finding yourself spending more time in QuickBooks than you'd like, we help business owners keep their books organized, accurate, and up to date so they can focus on running their business instead. If you'd like to learn more, you'll also find my contact information in the description below.